Right now, we're all waiting for the market to bottom out, which is taking a while. This has been a rough 5-6 months of just terrible market action. But in the meantime, something positive we can all do is research to add particular companies to our watch list. And these are companies that are likely still going down in price, but that we want to watch for when the market turns around. Because when it does, we could scoop these companies up for a cheap price. And in a market turnaround is where you have potential to make a lot of money in good companies. Now, a lot of these companies won't come back up, but the few good ones will. So while we're waiting for the market to turn around and while we're looking for good companies, we should probably also talk about good ways to analyze these companies. Mental models for analysis. We want to add as many of these to our tool set as we can. And the one we're going to talk about today has to do with McDonald's milkshakes. And I know what you're thinking. McDonald's milkshakes? I've never had one. The machine has always been broken. It's true. There is something majorly wrong with McDonald's milkshake machines. And there's also something wrong with the people who work at McDonald's. I've literally had them laugh me out of a drive-through line when I asked for a milkshake, which makes me so mad. I was like, yeah, could I get a chocolate milkshake? And they're like, you want a milkshake, you idiot. There's no milkshakes here. And I was like, but it's on the menu. I know you guys have milkshakes. No, the machine is broken, stupid. And I did just leave that drive-through line and went home because I just don't understand why McDonald's can't get their machines to work. And then why they're so cocky about their machines not working. It's not oh, I'm sorry, the machine is down today. It's more like, oh, you're an idiot for even asking for one. But this video is gonna assume that all McDonald's milkshake makers work everywhere. It's a rational assumption because we're economists. But man, I hate that milkshake thing. Just like when I told you guys about how I can't go to Popeyes anymore. Because you literally go in there to get heckled. I can't stand it. They're always like, oh, why are you getting that chicken? That's gross. Oh, why are you getting all that sauce? That's gross. It's like I'm ordering what's on your menu. Leave me alone, just give me my chicken. Which, by the way, KFC has completely changed themselves if you're looking for chicken. They are like Chick-fil-A quality now. They might even be better than Chick-fil-A. I know, it's crazy to think about, but you heard it here first. They have this KFC sauce that's actually Chick-fil-A sauce. They got these chicken sandwiches that are great. Check it out if you haven't already. But okay, that's enough of a fast food update. Let's get back to analyzing stocks, the mental models that we need to do it. Using McDonald's as an example. So when you look at a company, you want to look at what product or service they're providing, right? Now in this case, let's assume it's a product. Now, when you look at that product, are you thinking, oh, how much do people like it? How much do they use it? Yes, you do. But another way to think about it is what job is that product doing for people? And this is where McDonald's milkshakes come in. So when I was in that drive-thru like an idiot, I guess, asking for a chocolate milkshake, what was I thinking about? Well, in my case, it was the middle of the night and I was like, man, I really need a milkshake. And I wanted a good chocolate milkshake. And McDonald's pretty good for being, a drive-thru fast food and whatever. But it turns out that's not the reason why most people get McDonald's milkshakes. And this was very surprising to me. But McDonald's did a survey and they were trying to figure out, why do people drink our milkshakes? Is it because they taste good? Turns out, no. Not that they don't taste good, but the truth is that those milkshakes are doing a very specific job for customers. So here's what they figured out. And of course, this research is from Macro Ops, but they figured out that customers had a long and boring drive to work. So they needed something to make their commute interesting. And they weren't really hungry yet because they just had breakfast, but they knew by mid-morning their stomach would be grumbling. And they faced constraints too. They were in a hurry, they were dressed for work, like they had their suits on and whatever, and they only had one free hand because they were driving. So it turns out people in the morning on the way to work wanted to stop by McDonald's for a milkshake because literally they were bored and just a little bit hungry. And a milkshake wasn't exactly what they wanted, but it did the job that they needed. So if you were tasked with the job of selling more milkshakes for McDonald's, what would you have done? You probably would have looked at the flavoring and see, hey, can we make this taste better? Can we make it healthier maybe? I don't know how you do that with a milkshake, but can we add some different flavors or combinations or something? But if you try to do all that, you'd actually be missing the core point why customers get these milkshakes, because they're bored on their commute to work. It's crazy, I know. And it turns out the milkshake is the best tool for that job, because when you're looking at a product that a company creates, you got to see what's the competition, right? What are the other tools that could complete this job? So in the job for making the commute to work more interesting, there was plenty of competition, but nothing else did the job perfectly. perfectly like the milkshake. So this is from customers. I hire bananas sometimes, in the sense that, yeah, a customer or a person grabs a banana on the way to work. But take my word for it, don't do bananas. They're gone too quickly and you'll be hungry again by mid-morning. Okay, what about donuts? How about you grab some donuts on the way to work? Nope, they're too crumbly and they make your steering wheel all sticky. Okay, how about bagels? No bagels, they're dry and tasteless. And then you gotta drive with your knees while you try to put jam or cream cheese on them. So the milkshake ended up being the best tool for the job. It takes about 20 minutes to consume because you're sipping and it has to melt a little bit, it gets stuck in the straw. You know how milkshakes work. It requires only one hand and it fits perfectly into a cup holder. Now tell me, have you ever thought about a McDonald's milkshake like that? If you ever had one, if you ever found a working machine? No, probably not. I haven't. So you could see how this is a different way to view a product. What are customers really using it for? So in McDonald's case, if they wanted to sell more milkshakes, it's not about increasing the flavor, making them taste better, or providing different flavors or anything like that. It's probably just making sure that the milkshake machine is working, maybe making them cheaper. It's whatever to help that morning commuter get what they need fast so they could be on their way. So in this case, you've got a great product, right? The milkshake. Now, the other aspect of this, beyond just having a great product that people want, is how much value is the company extracting from that product? So how much money do they make on it when they're selling it? Now, the previous analysis that we just did, it's kind of a qualitative analysis, right? How are people actually using the milkshake? Now, the actual value captured from it, that's more qualitative. You can go through a company's 10Q and see what their profit margins are. That's going to tell you how much value is actually being captured. So good examples of companies that provided huge value for customers but didn't capture any of that value themselves, or at least not enough, are railroads and airlines. Because think about, say, railroads, right? When they first came out, it was a much faster way to get places than horse and buggy. But most railroad companies went out of business. And the reason why is because that whole business model had terrible economics. They weren't able to capture proper value. Same thing with airlines. Everyone uses airplanes, right? But the airline industry is a notoriously bad one to invest in because the economics just don't work out. So even though products like trains and planes are such a huge value to people, they are not good businesses to invest in because the actual companies that provide that product aren't able to capture the value themselves. So that's another very key part of the equation. Have the good product, but be able to capture value from that product. So again, two factors. How great is the product, and then how much value can the company capture from that product? Now, the third part that we want to analyze when looking at a product is how much can they do with the pricing? How much value is there that they can still unlock? So say a current product is $10. Well, if they increase it to $12, will they still have the same amount of demand? Because if so, then guess what? A bunch of value was unlocked right then. You're going to make a bunch more money. Because really with the product, there's only two ways to make more money from it, right? You either sell more of that product or you increase the price of that product. So both factors are important. In the best case scenario, you could sell more at a higher price. So let's take these three factors and try to analyze a McDonald's milkshake. So factor number one, how good is the product? Clearly, it's great, because everyone in America is getting milkshakes on their way to work. Again, I had no idea this was happening. But that's the benefit of a company really understanding their customer. So they got that down, right? People love the milkshakes. Now step number two, how much value is McDonald's extracting from those milkshakes? Well, estimates put the profit margin for a milkshake around 60%, so pretty good. So they get to pocket 60% of that selling price as profit. And that's just an estimate. I'm sure it's actually more. So there you go. That's great. They're capturing a lot of value from the product that they're selling. Now the third factor is, can they increase prices? Say right now a milkshake is $1. Could they increase it to $2 without losing customers? Probably, given that there's no competition for these milkshakes in the morning. So if that's the case, they can increase the price. So looking at it from those three angles, this milkshake is an incredible product. Now, of course, that doesn't mean you go out and buy McDonald's stock, because the milkshake is one very small part of it. But that's how you can look at a product and analyze whether it's doing well for the company or not. And I'm sorry, but could you just comment down below if you know someone who gets milkshakes on the way to work? I've literally never heard of this, never seen it, but I guess it's driving McDonald's milkshake sales, and I can't believe it. You know, a lot of people hate on fast food, and to me it's just anti-American, because there's this McDonald's by my parents' house, and it is one of the best McDonald's in Michigan. And you know why it's so good? Because when you're in that drive-thru, you barely even stop. You gotta stop to order, but you fly through, paying and grabbing your food. It's just instantaneous. And from a person who analyzes businesses and loves efficiency, that just puts a tear in my eye. Because you are getting decent quality food extremely fast for a very low price. And I know you could hate on fast food all you want, saying that's not decent quality food, that's terrible for you, it'll kill you. But guess what? Everything kills you. Breathing will eventually kill you because of all the carcinogens. And to tell you the truth, the health food craze that we've been in has made fast food seem a lot worse than it is. If you eat McDonald's 3 times a day, 7 days a week, then yeah, you are not gonna feel so good. But otherwise, it's actually okay. It's important to start separating out what is marketing and what is true. It's tough though, real tough, because people end up feeling real strong about their opinions that they got from somewhere else anyway. But now I'm just rambling. The point of this video is to use this mental model to analyze these companies that we're looking for as we wait for the stock market to turn around. Speaking of, we may or may not be close to that point. It's a little bit tricky, and a lot of people are gonna get hurt. We made a video about it right here. So make sure you watch that because you do not want to jump in too early. Again, it's kind of a balancing act here. We're not entirely sure what's about to happen next. Could be the bottom, might not be. Click this video right here for more, and I will see you in it.